myself a cheerleader. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Cheerleading. Hey, Benny.
Hi, good morning, Sue.
How are you, darling? I feel like I
Very
haven't seen
well.
you in like years.
I know, but we can gather around that old table of ours and have a wonderful day and enjoy it. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family first before I get to
Thank
forget
you. I
about it. There you go.
know.
Yeah,
I
it's
know.
better
I
and
get
better.
so wrapped up and I'm like, oh, that's right. It's Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Yep.
Big plans?
Nope.
Awesome.
I know. How about you?
Yeah, we're just gonna go to my girlfriend's house for a little bit, and then my mom. We're gonna make a small little gathering at my mom's because everyone else has gone out to their families. So
Oh, wow. Yeah.
yeah,
Because I know there's a few different pockets of families and
it's kind of what happens when you have a family in general. You know, you grow and you
well, family
expand,
and
and
then
those families
combining
grow. And
families.
yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, let's set the intention for because I know coming into the holidays and where we get triggered a lot come the holidays. We can be
Oh yeah.
triggered with emotions. It could be triggered with food, which is all a spiral that I'm getting triggered. I'm gonna go for the pumpkin pie and I'm gonna eat the crust and yada yada yada.
And me, I'm asleep again.
I'm gonna go to sleep again. Turkey coma.
I
Yes.
love it.
Yes. Turkey coma. I remember so much. So with that, you guys, audience, thank you so much for joining us. It's the Gratitude Cafe. Sue Lundquist here is your host. And I love having you guys here. So happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays, however you word it, however you celebrate it. Love on one another, be kind to one another, show up bigger, better, greater than the experience that is in front of you, and have a good time. Oh, and number one thing, put the phones away.
Amen.
Thank you. Only time you could totally take a quick picture, do that. Then mom and dad, y'all got to put your phones in the basket. We're going to lock and key it. Can you imagine?
It's almost like a bowl for keys, back in the day, but
Yes.
now it's gonna be a bowl full of phones.
Yeah, but let's put a lid on it and lock it.
Oh, but then who's got control of that? Who has the key, the password, and all that?
Oh, I would.
See? You got to think about it.
We'll give it to the dog.
No, bad
Put
idea.
the key on the dog and let the dog go run around the yard. That would actually be really hilarious to see. There's a family comedy in there, isn't there? All right, I am rambling. I know this. All right, we're going to talk health. Benny, you're giggling over there.
Always laughing because I can just imagine all of like the neighborhoods and just dogs running around, and families running after. Like, oh yeah, they're trying to find the key to so we can get their phones.
Total visual, absolute visual.
That's
Hopefully,
right.
Kitty, our guest, is enjoying this.
She's getting her
Watch out, she took the camera out.
Nice.
Perfect. I'm just going to do a screenshot. Cheese.
Well, she's got to do it now. It's gonna be put away. So
I know.
she's thinking. She's thinking.
Oh, good thinking. All right, you guys, welcome aboard. A quick reminder, of course, you guys know about my C2C program, and it is all about shedding old beliefs, old experiences, old relationships, and those expectations and triggers and experiences that are attached to those old habituations and emotions. You can get all these beautiful, juicy, self-regulating tools on or in my C2C program. You can also do that with my coaching program. You can just go to SueLundquist.com/C2C, and you get real-time, real-life, self-regulating mindset hacks and tools that can help you during the holiday season. There's tons of free stuff in there too as you sign up. We also encourage you to get the newsletter. I'm not going to spam you. I'm going to just give you some great, juicy, yummy goodies and stuff. I say stuff because I'm looking for the other word in my head. I'm giving you good tools, and I pull cards, inspiration, education. You get a copy of the show. Benny, you're laughing.
Because I thought you were gonna do like a Thanksgiving thing with stuffing, but that's not.
Oh, okay.
See, that's where my head is. I'm really hungry right now.
Yeah, you're ready for food.
I'm making space.
Making space. All righty. We are going to talk health. We have an author and another podcast host joining us today. We have Kitty Martone. Martone. I feel like I need to have some pasta.
Hi.
Hi. Just see, now you know, now you get the gist and the energy of where we're coming from, Kitty.
Love it.
I
I'm
love
having
it.
a blast already.
Good. You know what? I'm going to go rogue on you, babe. I can totally do the formal, but I want you to introduce yourself. Let's
Oh.
get to know you and your energy, all of that. How did you start this? I mean, I know your backstory, but I want the audience to hear from you too and get to know you.
Okay. Well, okay. So I'm Healthy Gut Girl, and that happened because I spent basically my whole young life really sick. I was born too soon, and I battled all kinds of health issues my whole entire life. When I reached puberty, it like doubled down and got much, much worse. and then um, and then I was going kind of down that allopathic route of having medication after medication and then taking other medications to stop the side effects of those medications. And I finally reached a point where I was like, I can't keep going down this road. I need to start seeking out other methods of supporting my immunity and building my strength and my stamina. And a very long story short, I ended up meeting my husband, who is a chiropractor of like the most special kind. And he does this so like holistic way of treating his patients with,
Yay!
with not just with, go in and crack your neck and send you on your way and sell you a lifetime package type of thing. But he really spends his time talking about detoxification and talking about supporting immunity and cracking your neck if you need it. And his demographic of people that he worked with included children with cerebral palsy and autism in the vaccine injured community. This is for the last 20 years of his life. And I was just in love in every possible way. And I'm like, I need to marry this guy so I can get free chiropractic for the rest of my life.
That's the only reason.
That's it. It kind of backfired on me because he works so hard. When he comes home, I'm like, I feel bad asking him for an adjustment. So I have to make an appointment. I have to pay. I'm kidding.
Yes.
So anyway, he thought it'd be great if we started a wellness center together, and he sent me to school for nutrition and for herbalism. And in that way, I ended up finding Donna Gates, and who is the author of the Body Ecology Diet, and she works with children with autism. And so she was able to teach me and help me. I met her and I stalked her actually. And and she, thank God, she liked it. And she hired me to help her teach her people how to make fermented foods and I have a culinary background, I left that out, to make fermented foods and foods that were really beneficial for supporting gut health. And then began Healthy Gut Girl. And I would help these babies, these kids, these youngsters, these children with autism and all these different types of disorders, help remediate their guts through these foods. And and then that started my entire, my career.
Yay. Well, I'm glad. And if girls and boys, I was going to say girls. I don't know why that came up. Maybe I have my girls in my head, but kids, adults, all alike, the Healthy Gut Girl. Kitty Martone, she has got her own podcast as well. And she is also a health educator. Talk to us. Okay, we're going in the holidays. You heard Benny and I goofing off and talking about food and, all of that. Let's talk about that conversation. And I know that the gut is the brain. I mean, it regulates everything. And then I want to talk about adrenal health because I've had adrenal fatigue and failure and all of that. But raised 3 kids and all the stresses and all the stuff. And let's talk about going into the holidays, the foods and the conversation having with themselves too, not only with their gut, but let's have that juicy conversation.
Okay. Well, I always say when we're born, right, the first thing, we come out screeching, and the first thing that brings us comfort besides our mother's arms is food, right? That's the thing where, so our entire lives, we're basically taught, our young lives, that, some amount of food brings us comfort. And it's really, so almost everybody has an emotional connection to food. And so when we go on diets, that's part of the reason it's so difficult. And so we have this idea that, it's like a love-hate relationship. And so Thanksgiving comes, and like you said, we have to make room. You got to prepare mentally for the fact that we're going to gorge ourselves,
mentally and physically, because the mental is going to come in, and then the physical, I'm going to chew on that because so-and-so. Yeah.
I like that. There's a meme out there that says before Thanksgiving, the night before Thanksgiving, it's like time to set your scales back 10 pounds. Oh, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
But I try to just give as much grace to that whole subject as possible, because everyone is battling or going through a different relationship with food. Some people don't have a problem with like my husband's like function. He's just like, it's just function. Me, I love to fall back on those foods that bring me comfort. So I do this 80-20 rule where 80%, and this isn't just for Thanksgiving, 80% of the time, I look at food as nourishment, medicine, literally medicine. It's medicinal. This food is healing me. This food is nourishing. It's replenishing me. It's supporting my immunity. And then 20% of the time, I look at it as soul food, right? The comfort food. And so what that might look like is maybe in 1 week, you have Monday through Friday night is your 80%. And then Friday night to like Sunday morning or Sunday brunch is your 20%. And then you go back on that Sunday night, you return back to your 80%.
Okay, so, wait, Kitty, I have a question. Something's popping up. Okay, so that 80-20, which I love, and I think I intuitively do this, but and what's popping up is because your husband, he's just methodical about it. He just does it. It's food, it's nutrition. We have a lot of hormones raging. So I know when that's coming. So I save my 20% for when I'm going to indulge. That's the butters and the cookies and the potato chips, organic. Right? Is that what you mean? Or are you saying on a weekly basis? I know you kind of ran through it, but
yeah, well, like even down to your plate of food. Okay, well, I'll break it down into little micro compartments. So your plate of food should be 80-20, right? It should be 80% of it should be alkaline, like veggies, and it should be maybe like a quinoa, and then 20% can be like the protein, the acidity, right? Alkaline acidity. So it gets you into the frame of, now that's not soul food versus nourishment. That's just like looking at things 80-20, because that's how the whole universe is set up, right? Everything is set up that way. Our microbiomes are 80% beneficial bacteria and pathogens. 80% microbes, beneficial microbes, and 20% are pathogens and commensal bacteria. Our whole bodies work that way. So then during the week, I'll have like my green drinks and my light breakfast and snack grazing throughout the day. And this can be different for everyone. People intermittent fast, and they do.
I was going to ask, fasting too.
Everyone, there's no one diet for everyone, right? You got to find what works for you. And then at the end of the week, that Friday evening, we might get some takeout, maybe a little healthier. We don't want to go bonkers and eat pints of ice cream during your 20%. You have to be realistic about what it is you're having. Right. And then, indulge a little bit. When hormones are raging, you find those things and you try not to gorge. You just, have the chocolate, do that kind of thing. So when Thanksgiving comes, if you look at it in a year span, like that Thanksgiving, that Christmas, that Easter, those times when we tend to indulge like that, that's 20%. Go easy on yourself. It's okay for me, I think it's okay to go ahead and eat too much and go ahead and have that nap, but one thing I always recommend is digestive enzymes And for most people, hydrochloric acid, which usually comes with in the digestive enzyme, to help you digest what it is you're eating. That is the biggest problem with everything, no matter if you're a vegan, a vegetarian, keto, carnivore, fruitarian, I don't care what you are. The underlying problem with everybody's digestion and health is that we're not fully digesting and absorbing what we're eating. And
absorbing is the big word right there.
Absorbing is the big word.
Yeah.
And breaking it down, because you can't absorb a half-chewed piece of broccoli, no matter how organic and beautiful it is, if you're not chewing your food, if you don't have the proper enzymes and acid bath in your stomach to break that broccoli down, it's going to start to putrefy in your small intestine. And that's where you go, God, broccoli makes me bloated. Oh, I'm so bloated right when I eat, or 20 minutes after I eat. This is your body not fully digesting. And now you've got undigested particles of food that are basically rotting in your stomach. I mean, think about it. You're like a really warm body inside, and that food is sitting there waiting to be processed. And if it's big chunks of undigested food, it's just going to sit there until the body can really do something with it and get it down to like a soft serve where it can start to do its work. And then it absorbs the water from it and the nutrients from it, and all the microbes start to take the nutrients to places in the body. And then it excretes the waste matter from that food. And that transit time is getting longer and longer and longer for the average American. It's getting longer. You're having undigested food in the body for 72, 90 hours. That's not okay. And then you have a poo, and maybe once a day or maybe once every other day. This is very slow transit time. This acidifies the body. This is where inflammation happens. And this is also the first domino to fall that starts to trigger those leaky gut, autoimmune, psoriasis, eczema, migraines, hormone
all the inflammation stuff. Yeah.
And mind stuff, depression.
Oh my gosh, totally.
Right?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I've got friends that maybe they have a BM once or twice a month. I mean, a week, excuse me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you can see, and you can see in their attitudes when they haven't. I mean, they get quite cranky. I would.
Yeah.
And then can you imagine then going into Thanksgiving, and then you get triggered by family and you still can't poo and you're eating more. And then you got brothers and sisters and they're giving you Crappuccino too. And I'm going with the poo jokes. Benny.
A lot going on there. A lot going on.
You fit right into my house.
Right?
This is right.
We have to talk about poo.
Yeah, we can't be
The
afraid
color,
of
the
it.
consistency. I know. So if you're eating, audience, I'm so sorry.
They just stopped.
They just stopped. But that's so true. And you can see it on their face, they're breaking out, or the inflammation, the eczemas, and all the stuff that's happening.
You want to hear something a little wild that a lot of people don't know?
Yes.
We have this colony of bacterium in our colons, in our large intestine, and it's called estrobolome. And it's supposed to be there. And it's there for a very specific reason, to help us digest, or let's see, metabolize and excrete toxic estrogen, men and women and children, estrobolome, and it helps us excrete toxic estrogens. If you're not going to the bathroom, or if you're having watery poo or too soft of poo, your body, that's a type of constipation where your body is flooding the system with fluid to try to get it out, right? Smelly, all that stuff. And then you're recycling the estrogens back into the system, back into the liver, to get conjugated in the liver again. And then the body doesn't know what to do with it, so it stores it in fat. And when you get estrogen stored in fat and other organs like breast tissue, this is when the problems start with hormone driven cancers. This is a really big deal when we don't digest and we don't go to the bathroom normally. It can create, it is at the root of hormone related cancers.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a bomb.
Wow. Boom, drop the mic. All right, we're done. You gotta poo, you gotta eat. We have to have solutions, Katie. We gotta have solutions. Talk to us about the solutions.
Well, what does this little colony of critters in our bowel need? You're not going to believe how simple and crazy this is. They live on fiber. They live on undigestible fiber from our food. And that is another name for that is called prebiotics, not probiotics, but prebiotics. And I know that it'll catch on soon, but I think one of the few people that would much rather you skip the probiotic and get straight to the prebiotic. Because it's like, you already have the critters, you already have the gerbils in the cage, just feed them now. You know, feed your microbiome, and what your critters eat is
the
fiber. Prebiotic fiber.
And how do they, I mean, obviously there's vegetables. Is there other vegetables? Is there, there's this whole craze about drink this, it's a probiotic, and all of this stuff that's going on.
Yeah. In fact, they're starting to say, experts, microbiologists, they're starting to say they think that this epidemic of SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, is actually because of the massive consumption of probiotics from just the store, from Trader Joe's and from Whole Foods and from wherever, and Costco, family-sized probiotics. And not to say that those are horrible, but even high quality probiotics can be unnecessary. You need to feed the ones you already have and remediate your gut in that way. And the foods are things like, vegetables, potatoes, all kinds of potatoes. And then there's things that have like artichokes, and they're definitely Google it. There's a list of all kinds of wonderful prebiotic foods. And then there's products that are designed specifically. And I have some of that information for your guests later in a little gift, but just to show you like the different products that people can start to look at that can kind of precisely target the good bacteria in your body. And like 65% of Americans, it might be higher now, are deficient in fiber. 65%.
That and water.
Yes.
Oh my God, dehydration and the whole inflammation conversation. And yes. And yes.
Yes, and more yes.
Yes, and more yeses. So prebiotics versus probiotics. And and fiber. Let's just put a big umbrella on that and say fiber. Mm-hmm. I totally agree with you. There's probiotics everywhere. And I think everybody is following the media, just like like society does. Mm-hmm. Take this, take that, don't do this, don't do that. And being their own doctor. And that's not healthy either. You've got to have a moderator. You've got to have moderation. So going back to the conversation, what I heard are some red flags, guys. If you have a loose, juicy stool, it's going to be healthy. If you have not been doing it. I mean, I had 3 kids. Benny's got 2 boys. We've had poop conversations for 20 something years.
I have not used the word description juicy before, but thank you. I will add that to my list of description adjectives.
Yeah, I use juicy a lot, and maybe I shouldn't use it in the context of poo, but you know what? Here we go. I mean, there's so many visuals going on with my audience right now. I love you.
but it's very good. It's good because you get the picture.
Yeah.
One word, juicy. Got it.
Juicy, baby. Yes. I'd rather use it in a more fun context. But anyways, we are talking about gut health, you guys. I've got a great guest, Kitty. And also you can go to Kitty's website and the Healthy Gut Girl. Listen to her podcast. She's got some free gifts and information for you. It is so paramount to take care of your gut and your body. I mean, that is your human form. You've got to take care of that, you guys, and you've got to monitor and navigate that on your own. And if you need help, find a holistic doctor, find a naturopath. I am not a big pill. I just don't believe in the big pill mentality. Do I think that there are times and places for that? Absolutely. A disclaimer to the audience, you know this isn't meant for health advice or anything. You go do your due diligence, go to the doctor, the naturopath, and find out what that all looks like for you. Get the tests, right? So important. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to still be live on YouTube. If you guys want to join us over there goofing off for about 3 minutes, we're going to do that. And just go to YouTube, 11:50 a.m. Type that in. And we will see you over there. Sue Lundquist here with the Gratitude Cafe, talking healthy gut and poo and all that yummy stuff for the holidays. We'll be right back.
A new adjective I haven't used when talking about poo.
Yes, juicy and yummy and all that. Just breed it on in.
Oh my goodness, I love it.
Yes. 80% veggies. Yeah. And I've got friends that they don't poop very often. And I like this conversation about prebiotics versus probiotics.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people who disagree with the whole like 80% veggies. I mean, there's people who disagree with everything, but and they're carnivores and they're like big meat eaters and doing the keto and like really, really zero carb and all that. And I think that is fine for some people, it works for, but I promise you that long-term no veggie and no fiber long-term is not a good idea. It's just the fact that, our bugs, our microbes, they all eat fiber and their waste product, right? They poop out stuff that is really important to help heal the lining of the gut. They poop out nutrients. They poop out vitamin Bs. They're incredible, magical little guys, and we need to feed them. So, yeah.
And we're talking about the prebiotics, the good stuff in the gut health. Yeah, not the animals. Because I wanted to make sure that we weren't feeding the animals, but I wanted to make sure I swung back around to talk about that. Website. We can tell our live YouTubers your website and your podcast. Can you do that for us?
Yeah, it's healthygutgirl.com. And then my podcast is called Stuff Your Doctor Should Know. And that's on all the social platforms, the podcast platforms. It's also on my website. You can listen if you don't have one of those social platforms. And then my Instagram is healthygutgirl_, which is where I do all my mini blogs and I have all that, tips, foods, all those types of things.
All the juicy stuff.
The juicy stuff, exactly. I have crazy, I have like photo albums of poo from clients.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, because, they're like, can you tell me if this is normal? Is this a parasite? Or they do a liver flush and they're like, look, kitty, like they're so proud of themselves and they send me photos. And so, it's really gross but it's so fascinating. And if you're going to be called Healthy Gut Girl, you can't be afraid of poop.
No, all poo welcome. We want you pooping healthy.
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
Oh, here we go. Thanks, woo, woo, woo. Mm-hmm. Welcome back. We are talking healthy gut. We are talking digestion and enzymes, probiotics versus prebiotics, what that looks like. If you've missed it, you got to go back to the top of the hour because we were talking some juicy stuff, right? Air quotes. And to all the families out there, and you might be eating breakfast or eating, just know we did have some poop conversations, but I know all those families, those parents out there, they've already been talking about poo. I mean,
yeah.
Did she poo? Did he poo? What did it look like? Are they eating it? It's all, and that's where we start. Mom and dad start about looking at their poo to make sure they're digesting okay. And if they're constipated or if they've got something going on with their gut, we monitor that. Mm-hmm. We got to do that for ourselves. We spoke about the 80-20 rule. And again, guys, you've got to figure, self-regulate, do this on your own, figure this out for yourself. Of course, go to Kitty's website. All this information is going to be on my website, on all my social media, so you can contact there if you're out there driving. Gut health is really important, you guys. 80%, 80-20 rule. And Kitty, we were talking about, and we were kind of alluding at before we went on break, about adrenal failure and how important the gut is to all of it. Inflammation, eczema, all that. And then people taking pills to help with said skin disease or inflammation. And guess what it's doing to the gut? It's inflaming the gut even more. That's this whole residual domino effect, right? Let's have that conversation about the medical benefits of taking care of your gut, the adrenal failure, because I've been there. I know exactly what that is. Ugh, it's awful.
Okay, I'm going to start by saying, something happened since COVID where everybody kind of mushes together medical doctors and health advice, and they say, oh, don't, like they're the same somehow, but that we should not listen to this, but listen to that. And I just think a really healthy way to look at all this is that what I teach is not medical advice. What I teach is before you need a doctor, like let's stuff we knew, prior to the Industrial Revolution, when people didn't have access to doctors the way that medication and everything the way that we do now. And so this is like prevention, like how to take care and boost your immunity so you can avoid having to go and get the pills, right?
Yep.
But thank God for the medical establishment.
Yes.
They have saved my life on multiple occasions. So we need to make sure they are compartmentalized, right? And so the other thing is that adrenal, there is really no such thing as like adrenal, what did you call it?
Fatigue or failure.
Failure. Adrenal failure basically means that you're dead, right?
Yeah, you're dead. Yeah.
They're your batteries. They are your batteries. If they're off, you basically power down.
Yep.
And so, but and adrenal fatigue is not a medical diagnosis either, believe it or not. That is something that the alternative community came up with to describe people who are just burnt out. And so, but what is happening on a scientific level with your adrenals is that, you're so taxed, your stress level, you're in fight or flight or the sympathetic nervous system chronically for so long, which, we're supposed to be up and down into stress and fight or flight, rest and digest, fight or flight. That's really normal and has always been the case for humans. But something has happened since probably slowly since the Industrial Revolution, especially since Wi-Fi and artificial light and having artificial light on at night and exposing our pineal to light and in the middle of the night and all of this. Something has happened where it's keeping us in this low grade fight or flight all the time. Now, and I'm not even talking about your job yet, or your kids, or your spouse, or none of that yet, or COVID, or any of that. I'm just talking about Wi-Fi and just the
energies and frequencies and all.
Yeah, your neighbor right here, all these power lines, like all of it, low grade fight or flight. Yep. And then add on top of that into all what I call the toxic bucket. And in there is all of that food that we're not supposed to be eating and the exposure to pollutants and all this stuff is in your toxic bucket. And it just gets full and full and full. And then we have this just either, our adrenals make the stress hormone cortisol. And you can, in the beginning, have all kinds of cortisol spikes. But over time with this chronic fatigue or chronic exhaustion, your adrenals just can't do it anymore. And so you just have this low production of cortisol. And so that's when people can't wake up, they eat, they crash, they have a whole day of just exhaustion. Yep. And so the adrenals need 6 things, foundational. Like there's all kinds of things you can take for adrenal function, right? There's a lot of things that they need.
Right.
But the 6 foundational things are sleep, which I know that's a catch-22, because if you can't sleep, you can't sleep. And what are you going to do, right? But that's what they need. They need at least 5 hours uninterrupted. That means you don't get up to pee. That means you don't get up to fluff your pillow. It means 5 hours uninterrupted, at least. So 8 hours with a little interruption would be great. And then you need salt. They need salt, healthy sea salt or pink salt or Himalayan salt or whatever, healthy salt, not your regular Morton's table salt, right? They need salt. And then why do they need salt? Because the salt and the water that they need, which is the third thing, hydration, create the current for the battery to work, right? So that water, and I always say half your weight in ounces in water every day. That's a hard thing to do because that's almost a gallon for a lot of people in a day. And it keeps you in the bathroom a lot. So I just say, work your way up to that point, right? Don't try to do it all at once. And just get used to going to the bathroom. Stop complaining. That means your kidneys are filtering. That's a really good thing.
Yep.
And so stop complaining. I get it. It's hard if you're working.
I know. And that was, and there was a doctor I'd spoken to years ago that your urine should be clear on the clear side, and peeing every 20 minutes. And then I had a conversation with him. You got to be careful with overindulging with the water too. And we can have this conversation because it's flushing too much.
Yeah. Well, what happens, it definitely is not good for some people.
Right.
However, there's not a lot of people most people are dehydrated. I have had a huge portion of clients come to me who many of their symptoms have been resolved just by hydrating.
Let's tell the guys, you don't get hydration from drinking coffee. You do not get hydration from drinking pops. You do not get hydration from drinking these, the energy drinks and all of that. That is absolutely the contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you don't like the taste of water, or the texture of water, I recommend making like peppermint tea, sun tea, or hibiscus tea, making lemon tea, making things that don't have caffeine, that are herbal, that you can keep a big thing in the fridge of it, and just keep a water bottle. I would not rely on cups of water because you'll lose count. And just, to make it really, really, you have to commit to making that a habit.
And make it really easy for yourself.
Yes.
Don't do just the cup. Put it in a few bottles so you have it just sitting around the house, the car, the office.
Yeah.
Just do it. Yeah.
I have a nice big 34-ounce canteen, and I drink 3 of those in a day, and sometimes more. If you drink coffee, you probably need more than half your weight in ounces. If you sweat a lot and you work out a lot, for sure you need more than half your weight in ounces.
That's me, big time. Yeah.
So that's important. And so the other thing, we did sleep, we did
salt, healthy salt, and then water.
Now the nutrients. We need magnesium is so important. I do not like citrate. There's a reason it loosens your bowels, and that's because your body's getting rid of it. It's not very absorbable, and it can upset mineral balance in the body. It's fine once in a while, but I like threonate. I like magnesium glycinate. I like the other magnesiums are better, and that's also in my gift for people to see the types of magnesiums they can.
That's important.
Have.
And that affects your mood and your balances too, right? Your energy levels, all of it.
Magnesium is important for almost every function in the body. Wow. How about that? Is that amazing? That's amazing to me. It never ceases to blow my mind. And sugar. So there's this thing called the magnesium burn rate, which is like stress burns magnesium, sugar burns magnesium. There's all these things that actually burn magnesium. And so, it's like you have to just keep on replenishing magnesium. You can do that with food, and you can do that with a supplement.
And also, guys, but then again, let's back up to the beginning. Your foundational piece is your gut health. Yes. If your gut health is not.
Are you absorbing your food?
Exactly. So
I'm fine. I have magnesium. I have pumpkin seeds. Okay. Are you pooping? Because if you're not, that means you're probably not digesting those pumpkin seeds. You know, it's like you have to be digesting. That was beautiful to come back to that. I always say, always come back to the gut. Always. I don't care if it's toe fungus. I don't care if it's, you know, eczema on your elbow.
Yep.
It always comes back to the gut. Hormone imbalance. Always.
It is. It's your gut is the number one brain. I mean, you've got heart and all this other beautiful things going on, and we can talk all those different modalities, but honestly, guys, your nutrients, what you put into your mouth that goes into your gut and body, is your fuel for that whole beautiful vessel. And if you're not able to absorb, hence the gut, guess what? You're really not getting it. And hydrate. So fiber and hydrate, fiber and prebiotics, prebiotics.
I love it. So cheer, fiber and hydrate.
Oh, we should. And poo real good and not, I was going to
fiber and hydrate and
you
poo.
should have a poo cheer.
We're going to end with poo.
Benny is now looking for a song about poo. I'm sure there's the wheels on the
There
bus
is,
go
but I'm
round
not.
and round, round and round.
Oh my goodness, we don't have enough poop songs.
Oh, the wheel on the bus, that is perfect. The analogy, the wheel on the bus goes round and round. Yeah. But you got to have all those good stuff in the bus.
Yes.
Oh, I love this. If you guys are just joining us, we've had a really fun almost hour here. We're talking to the Healthy Gut Girl. And Kitty and I, we've been talking about poo. We've been talking about what's going to happen coming up for the holiday seasons. And in general, gut health is paramount and so important for you guys. Hydration, magnesium, adrenal health, stress, all of this stuff that we have been talking about is all affected by the gut. And Katie was also educating us and talking to us about prebiotics versus probiotics. That was all at the beginning of the hour or whenever it was, but it's to just go back and listen to it. It's really important. And also, guys, the media and everybody is jumping on the bandwagon about probiotics and all this stuff. Please don't be your own doctor. Go and get a naturopathic, get some testing, because you don't know what's going on. Even if you are taking that, you don't know what's going on in your gut. You don't know where your hormones are, men and females. Please go and get some testing done. And Kitty, let's have that conversation. If they cannot, or if they don't have the resources, the money, whatever it is, to be able to go and get these tests at the naturopath, because many of the naturopaths aren't insured, like the insurance, so you can't bill them through the insurance. So it gets pretty expensive.
Yes.
What can they do, even after I just said, don't be your own doctor, right? What can they do to self-check, similar to what we do with the babies? Are they pooping? When did they eat? Kind of conversation.
Yeah. Okay. Well, a couple things. You mentioned naturopathic doctor.
Yep.
There's also homeopathic doctors, and there's also functional medical doctors. And functional medical doctors tend to take insurance.
Oh,
and
good.
They use kind of everything. They're all about prevention, and they try to get you off of medications, which is something that I can't do. That's not something I want to do. So that's a functional doctor is great for. Also, I think we missed 2 things on the adrenals. We got 4 or 5.
Yeah, we got sleep, we got healthy salts, we got water, and we got nutrients, the magnesium.
The magnesium, the B vitamins, and the vitamin C. Those are the 3 nutrients. And so now that segues perfectly into the money thing, which is who has the money to budget in, especially if kids and everything, to budget in these supplements, prebiotics, probiotics, magnesium, vitamin. That's inexpensive. It's almost as expensive as medications now, right?
Yep.
So I have many, many, many clients who, can't afford it, can't budget in, or don't want to because they know they're not going to commit to it. They know they won't commit to taking supplements. And so I always find a way. So one of the things that we can do is just, also I have clients who travel a lot and don't have time for all that. And so I have seen lots of big health changes in people when they upgrade the quality of what they're eating, right? And then they hydrate. Those 2 things I've seen almost miraculous things happen. So when I say upgrade the quality, it's like, all right, if you are eating, let's say, a Subway sandwich every day at lunch or something similar to that, try to find a place that has, and now it's not hard to do, salads instead. Try to opt for the salad option, or try to, even if it means a little protein in the salad, like a little bit of chicken or something like that, upgrading the quality of your food. If you're eating regular store-bought Jiffy peanut butter, how about try like an almond butter or a cashew butter? And don't eat every single day. We're not meant to, peanut butter, 1 tablespoon of peanut butter it takes a lot of peanuts to make a tablespoon of peanut butter, to make a jar of peanut butter. And we're eating 4 and 5. I think the serving size for peanut butter is like 1 teaspoon on the jar.
Oh my gosh.
Nobody does that.
No.
So here we are eating all of these peanuts. We would never, ever in a million years before the Industrial Revolution sit down to that many peanuts. You just wouldn't have that many peanuts.
Mm-mm.
And so I always try to think in terms of like, before everything got convenient, how did we consume things? You would eat seasonally, you would eat locally, right? You wouldn't be buying a kiwi in Wisconsin in the middle of December. So we would eat things seasonally, locally, try to upgrade if you can do organic, great. If you can't, how about some things organic? Like, the Dirty Dozen.
Yeah.
If you go onto ewg.org, it's a watchdog organization that lists the highest foods, the foods that are highest in pesticide residue.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Dozen.
Yes.
And try to get, and if there's like 2 or 3 of them, like bananas that you love, maybe try getting organic bananas.
Great. Yeah, I know.
Just little things. You don't have to just flip the table over and throw a grenade at your whole life and try to make changes that are going to be unsustainable and unaffordable.
And emotions are going to go with all of that, because it's going to be a big wheel. You're going to feel like you failed, or there's going to be shame, or there's going to be guilt or lack. There's that whole thing. So just baby steps, my friends. I'm
so glad you said that. Slow and steady wins the race, right?
Yes.
Don't look up at the big Mount Everest that we all have to climb. Just look at the little steps in front of you and take off little bites. Like I just heard recently, how do you eat an elephant? What? One bite at a time. It's the weirdest.
That is awful.
It's awful, right?
I'd rather go back to a conversation.
Bad. It's something people say, and I didn't know that. It was.
I don't either. I don't want to say that. I'd rather talk about poo.
Okay, how about this? How do you eat a chocolate elephant? How about that? Point is, how do you take on a Herculean task, right? Yes. 1 bite at a time, 1 step at a time. And so that's really the big takeaway for people who I'm like, this is how we're going to start. We're going to start with baby steps.
Yes.
If you can afford any supplements, just do the digestive enzymes, because the enzymes are the ones that are going to help you with that first domino.
And that's a prebiotic. Fibers, and lots of water. The water is you've got to have, that's part of your engine, you guys. It goes down to molecules. We are so full of water. We can get into this whole moon conversation too. When the moon, come on, if the moon's able to move oceans, guess what? Our bodies are highly affected by, we can have that conversation.
Oh my gosh, it's a whole hormone conversation. Yeah, definitely.
I know. And I've been talking to clients, I've been talking to friends, females and males, about the last 3 months. September and October, I was highly affected. Yeah. I was like, what? Like my body ballooned up and it started retaining and went into I was like, what is happening? Yeah. It was the weirdest, craziest thing.
Yeah.
And there wasn't anything that I radically changed. I was going through some mental stuff, but granted, that can be a big thing.
Yeah. That's the moon too. Makes you crazy.
Yes. Well, yeah. And guys, this is a conversation. We can have it another time too, as well. But it's not an intentional thing like, oh, the moon's coming, I'm going to be in a pissed mood. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, oh God, I'm bloated, or I'm emotional, or why am I, something's wonky, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I look at the calendar, I'm like,
yeah,
full moon's coming. Oh, okay, now I get it. And then I go back to self-regulating, or
and you
I
howl
hydrate
at
more.
it, you howl at it, and then you're fine.
You howl at it and you scream and you poo and you do all that stuff. I love it.
I have a Facebook group called the Estrogen Dominance Support Group.
Ooh.
And I know, and it's got 17,000 plus members, and 85% of them are active. And let me tell you something. No one can tell me with that anecdotal evidence that the moon does not affect us.
Oh, come on, sister. You're going to hear that from me. I got goosebumps all over my
Yeah. It just people all at the same time, and I won't even look at the calendar either. And I'll just say, wow, look at the complaints today.
Yeah.
Go, oh, hey guys, beware. We're coming up on a massive full moon. And it's unprecedented. It's uncanny. It's uncanny.
Yeah. It is. It really is. And for the naysayers, I'm like, well, that's okay. You go do your naysaying. That's all right. It's fine. I'm not convincing anybody, but anyway.
I'll add one more thing to that. My dad worked in a prison when he was in the armed services for a long time. Anyway, he worked in a prison for a while, and they hated full moons.
Oh, I bet.
They said it was always the biggest problem the day before the full moon and a few days following. He's like, it was guaranteed trouble.
Ask all the ER doctors and the ER nurses. My friend, they're like, oh yeah, here we go. It must be a full moon. Oh yeah. Things happen, guys. So hydrate. Get yourself grounded with good nutrition. Get that gut healthy and sexy and juicy gut. We're going to go with that one. I like that adjective.
Sexy, juicy gut.
I love it. We've spent a great hour. I love this conversation, Kitty.
It's been an hour.
Yeah, well, almost. We're a couple minutes. I know we can keep talking, right? I love this conversation. Healthy Gut Girl. Kitty, I love this conversation. You're welcome to come back, because this is such an important conversation to have, and you got great energy. I love what you're doing. Thank you for stepping in the rink and educating thousands and thousands of people, and really standing in your purpose and your power, and stepping through your own challenges too, because that's where you learn the most. You have your own things that you're going through, right? Mm-hmm. And you can come from a place of, oh yeah, I've walked that talk. I know. Yeah. Not to say you're diminishing anything that you've gone through, and I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, I got you. I know what you're doing. I got it.
Yeah, it's ongoing. It's
ongoing. Gut health. So I'm going to do a little bit of things I took away with all of this. The 80-20 rule. And we were talking about the adrenals, what they're going to need. They need at least 5 solid hours, or 6
things.
6? Or, well, there's 6 things on the adrenal, but I don't know what I said. Okay. I'm going to go through 6 things. 5 hours of sleep, healthy salt, lots of water, the nutrients, the magnesium, right? Mm-hmm. And then vitamin B and vitamin C. Yes. And you can find all that. Remember, Kitty was talking about the 80-20 rule. If you missed that, please go back at the top of the hour. Check out the gut health. We're going to get you some free goodies when we send this out in the newsletter and on the social media as well, because this is important. You guys are going into the holidays, and regardless of the holidays, you just need some good health in the gut, because it affects everything. If you have acne, if you have eczema, all of that is affected in the gut. I know it's so paramount.
Yeah.
Let me get all, you can tell them, Healthy Gut Girl. That's on Instagram. And then Facebook is Healthy Gut Girl. And you can go to the website at healthygutgirl.com and get all of that information. So healthygutgirl.com. Mm-hmm. And if you guys are driving, you know where to find me, and I'm going to have all that information. We've got about 1 minute, Kitty. I know, it's crazy. We can totally keep having this conversation. I know.
Well, It's healthygutgirl_ for Instagram. And there is an imposter out there. So you have to put the underscore.
Okay. No, I'm glad you said that. Audience, did you hear that? And we'll make sure everything's all of that's checked when we send it out in social media. Kitty, this has been a great, juicy conversation.
Yes, it has. And don't forget the gift for your listeners is healthygutgirl.com/gift.
Ooh, /gift, boys and girls. Get your gift. All right. With that, we're going to see you next week. Kitty, thank you so much. And I'm serious. Welcome back. I love this conversation.